Broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studios in Pensacola, Florida, it's time for Pensacola Business Radio. Now, here are your Business Radio X hosts.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Keith Overt here, broadcasting live from Business Radio X studios in Pensacola. And I have across the table from me, Deana Chapman. Deana. Oh, what's this?
Already making it.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? You should have hypnotized me before we started. That's why.
Already making a correction.
All right. Certified consulting, hypnotist, instructor, neuro-linguistic programmer. That's probably one of the coolest titles I've seen ever. So,
well, I just keep adding to it.
Yeah. So tell me just give me the lowdown. Like, how do you get here?
Well, I've done a lot of different things in my life as far as communication and sales and getting out there and being able to connect with people. And I had a large family, several children. So I came across a master hypnotist and she asked me if I wanted to know more. And one of the first
who doesn't, right? Like, yeah.
And one of the first things she says, would you like to try it? And one of the first things that went through my head was, I don't want anybody to control my mind. Mm-hmm. I don't want anybody to plant any suggestions. Be barking like a dog and run around like chickens, right? Yeah. Find out any deep, dark secrets. And so, she reassured me. She said, this is your agenda. And, hypnosis is about working together. It's actually not that I hypnotize you as much as it's self-hypnosis, and I kind of guide you into it. Mm-hmm. So working together is one of the most important things you can do to be successful.
So talk to me about self-hypnosis, because that sounds sort of contradictory, isn't it?
Well, the reason why they call it self-hypnosis is because it's something that you need to want. It's not something I can control. I can't tell you to go into hypnosis and have you just blindly go into it and me control your mind.
You're like the light side of the force, aren't you?
I am so light, such a side of the force.
Okay, so let me ask you, is there some things inside each of us that maybe some natural abilities here that you had that helps you do this? Because I don't want to walk around thinking I've got like ESP and, everybody's got sort of the Vulcan powers, but there's got to be something inside you that's wired a little differently that allows you to free think this kind of stuff and make it happen.
Right. Now, I think that the NLP, the neuro-linguistic programming part of it is a lot of things that we naturally have. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's being able to read behaviors or influence people by the way you hold yourself or the type of words you say. So we've all got a little bit of that in us. I think I was raised in a home that communication was good and important, but I kind of had an innate sense or ability to understand, how our mind works and how to create healthy thoughts and how to, understand different things.
How much has your gut played a role in your life?
Well, if you saw the decisions I made, you'd think not at all. But I usually knew ahead of time that, the type of decisions I was making was taking me someplace I shouldn't go. And so I think it has played a role.
I think, and we were talking before the show a lot about just some, like you said, you have to want it. You have to be to a point in your life or where you are of the change, right? Because a lot of people, most people come to you for change, obviously.
Yeah. Now, most people who come in and say, oh, I don't need to change anything. I'm perfect. My life's perfect. Everything is great.
Then you're boring or you're dead.
Yeah. And to me, that is a sign that you could probably use it more than most because to believe that in a world that had years of life before us and years of life after us, that there's not something that we could learn or change or improve is almost arrogant. So I just believe that it's not anything to be ashamed of, to want to make self-improvement, to want to grow, to want to get healthy in your thought and your mind, to get balance, to learn to be happy and let go of things that are unhealthy. You know, there's a lot of things that we can improve in our life.
That's learning to be happy. Mm-hmm. You would not think that people need to learn how to be happy.
I tell everybody happiness is a choice.
Yes.
And everybody who walks out their front door could either focus on all the horrible things that's ever happened to them or all the things that are negative in the world, and that will be their world. And if they walk out their front door and they focus on gratitude for the things they have and joy in all the little things and appreciation, gratitude denotes happiness. So you find happiness when you look for it and you choose it.
I truly believe there are no coincidences. And for you to be here today, it solidifies that. We can go into it later when we get off the air. But I made the last couple of months of my life have been sort of up and down with some things with the business and things with just life, right? And about 2 weeks ago, I just made that choice to be happy, right?
Awesome.
Like I was like, bring it on, world, whatever it is, I'm going to laugh in its face. And things fix themselves very quick.
They do. It's all in what you look for. It's kind of like they say with The Secret, what you are thinking about, what you're looking for is what your mind focuses on. Our minds are very powerful. So
what you put out there,
if
right?
we're spending time focusing on wanting to get healthy, then we see healthy things. If we focus on wanting to make better choices, then we're drawn towards people who are making better choices or whatever. So there's a big influence on how you think.
Yeah. So, okay, how does it work?
Well,
like you're going to dangle the gold watch in front of me and we're just going to go down the rabbit hole or what?
Well, a lot of times there's different things that you can use to basically get the conscious mind focused on what you're saying or what you're doing. A lot of times I'll just count down, in a soft, subtle voice. And I might just slowly count you down and instruct you to let go of, all your thoughts and listen to the suggestions that are healthy and right for you and just focus on my words. And the more I can get you to imagine or follow these suggestions or create images or thoughts in your mind that match it, then the more powerful they are, because our subconscious mind doesn't forget anything.
Sure.
And
it's all there, right?
Right. And we've got stuff in there we don't even know about. And so if you get your conscious mind to relax, like your conscious mind is the mind that has all these beliefs and opinions. And, so if I said, oh, you could be a ballerina. And the first thing that might go through your head is, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I'd trip and fall.
I look horrible in a pink tutu.
And then there might be those who say, oh, no, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
You got beautiful legs.
We're not friends with them anymore.
Anyway, so if you're able to relax that conscious mind so that it's not throwing in ideas and just open your mind to positive suggestions, it like narrows your thought process so that I can get in there and give you specific suggestions and say things like, you believe in yourself. You see yourself self-confident and strong. You're able to shake hands and look people in the eyes. You're not concerned about what other people think about you. All of those things that I might suggest, your mind hones in on that, and it's not filtered with, oh, no, I can't, or no, I wouldn't, or I'd be afraid. It just kind of follows them. And you create these images of you being tall and being confident and shaking people's hands and feeling successful, and those influence you daily.
Yeah.
So it becomes very powerful because you become what you see.
Right. And so it's just a deprogramming and a rewiring so much. And
changing a perspective.
Yeah. And, again, we were talking before the show, but there's one of the things that I know a lot of my friends around me and even some of the business partners I work with have all gotten to that point now where we're just realizing how much programming has really happened without you realizing it's happening, right?
It happens your whole life.
Yeah,
right.
well, and some of us are into the marketing business as well. So
and marketing
is right in your face.
Yeah, one of the strongest influences on hypnosis, I think it was Erickson or whatever, he went into sales and marketing because there was such an influence on specific things. Like a lot of your billboards are up and to the right because that's like the visual side of your mind. So you can actually do exercises looking up to the right and seeing yourself in a certain position that you want to be in, and then looking down and feeling yourself in that position, and then looking down and to the left and stating, I'm in this position, over and over again. And that alone can influence you to become, like catapult you into that position quicker. Yeah,
there's a lot of power in visualization.
There is. And it's not just visualization. It's also because we all think and use our minds differently. In hypnosis, you can literally get somebody in a state where you can describe how something looks, and they may be really visual or be able to create images. So they might follow that with images, or you can even suggest that there's smells, like you're walking by a rose and you can smell the fragrance.
I have been down that road. Yeah. Not through hypnotism, but I've journeyed down that path where you visualize something and all of a sudden you smell it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You can do smell. You can even do taste on a certain level. They go into hypnosis so deep for some circumstances that they follow about 6 depths, but they go so deep that in some circumstances you could perform surgery. Maybe somebody's allergic to anesthesia. So if you can get them to literally numb those areas with their mind, you get them in that relaxed state and they feel nothing when they're in that state, then you could literally, cut them and they wouldn't feel anything.
See, I knew they made the movies from the real thing. right? Like,
Yeah.
like Limitless and all this stuff, or you
There's-
have so much control in your mind, you can cut off pain receptors and all of that. I mean, it's got to be possible.
Well, what's interesting is our mind comes up with ideas from somewhere.
Right.
We don't just pull
We
them
just
out
pull
of
it from the ether like Einstein,
there's
right?
something that's going on in there that already suggests this, because any idea that you can imagine is something that can be created.
Sure.
So I think that's why you see in movies and stuff years ago, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, we're talking on cell phones.
Yeah.
When it used to be that you'd never imagine yourself doing that.
Right. So, okay. So what are some of the misconceptions? Because I know when somebody says hypnosis, the first thing I think of is my high school graduation out at the bowling alley on the Navy base. And this is why don't think I was able to be hypnotized, is because it didn't work with that guy, which was fine, because that's the last place I wanted to be. Trust me.
Right.
But I watched my buddy run around and do all kinds of
Like
cool.
a chicken with his head cut off.
Totally. And the whole class is laughing. Everybody had a great time. It was our project graduation thing, but
It's very entertaining.
sure. But that's the first thing that pops to my mind, right?
Exactly.
So there's a lot of people out there with misconceptions that way. Huh?
TV and the entertainment side has created a lot of misconceptions. But if you ever notice that you're in a show and they'll bring 20 people up and they'll send, 12 back, people are basically giving themselves permission to follow the suggestions. They have the desire to at any given moment. They could walk away, and most of them actually know that. They just want to go along with this.
Yeah.
Some are more influenced, you can get them to kind of forget things and go a little bit deeper. But the first thing is that they have to want to do that.
Sure.
And a lot of them are just giving themselves permission to do something they'd never do. But there is a power in hypnosis.
Yeah.
They'll say it's dangerous to, like have your body so stiff that somebody could stand on it, because something that could physically harm you could physically harm you. And there's another thing is sometimes they do things that are actually cruel. In entertainment hypnosis, they might say, oh, there's a soft little bunny. Now somebody stepped on it. Well, it's not that they see that somebody actually stepped on it. It's the power of the thought of caring so much. Because remember, you're zeroed in on a certain idea.
Sure.
So if they're saying, oh, you love this bunny, then you're loving your bunny. And then if someone steps on it and you suggest that it's...
Yeah, now I'm going to the car to get my gun, right? Yeah, because, you're all upset.
No, yeah. So there's actually a cruel part of it on that level. But nobody goes into hypnosis who doesn't want to. And that's probably why... you couldn't be hypnotized.
Yeah, I did that night. I did not want to. I knew they were about to get
suggestions aimlessly.
It was funny though. I still rag my best friend about it even today because he remembers it kind of, and I remember it. I'm like, hey, it's just one of those good old stories.
This is one of those things, yeah. And some of us do that when we're drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I don't drink. I'm sorry.
Okay, so can I get stuck in this trance of hypnoticness?
No, and if I was to walk away, the Office Space is something that they compare that to, where he dies in the middle of hypnosis, and this guy's like, I just don't care about life anymore, and I don't want to come into work, Bob.
Right. Yep. That's it.
But no, what happens is if you might stay relaxed for a while, but you would soon recognize that you're not hearing suggestions anymore, and you just kind of snap out of it, like, hey, what's going on? Right.
Sort of dazed and confused.
Yeah, or even aware, because sometimes you can hear the suggestions all the way through. A matter of fact, I try and take people on different levels, but I like for them to hear it, because if they can imagine what I'm saying and create these images and thoughts and connect to them, then they can see how it's influencing them.
Right.
And, sports psychology is a lot like hypnosis, or it is hypnosis. What they're doing is they're taking their affiliates or the sportsmen, and they're saying, okay, I want you to focus on perfecting this sport and being completely focused and seeing yourself make this shot exactly, or catch the ball exactly how you know how to, or read it, and they're given them these images. And if they're creating images in their mind and they can perfect it and they can block out distractions, that's what makes them rise above somebody who's just an average athlete.
Yeah.
It's the power of the mind. So
I know, and it's funny because I just had this conversation this morning. The Blue Angels do a lot of the pilots literally sit around a table, much like this one here in the studio, and close their eyes and look down, and usually the captain or the leader rolls them through the entire flight plan.
Right.
And they do this like 3 to 4 times a day. They spend a good hour and a half visualizing their flight.
That's how powerful it is and how important it is. Yeah.
That's really cool.
So you can do that with yourself. And a lot of times when my clients come in, I'll give them, each week that they come in, I'll give them a different step to self-hypnosis so that they can kind of condition their mind to start to drop down in a relaxed state and see and vision very vividly what they want to achieve and do it over and over again, and then be able to bring themselves back up. But it's not as powerful as me. It's just reinforcing.
Sure.
Yeah. Nothing's as powerful as me.
Yes, that's it. That's true. That's right. We are our own powerful, right?
Yeah.
So what is the neuro-linguistic? I mean, this is just a great 2 words, right? What's the neuro-linguistic programming?
Well, it's actually using different tools to either switch the mind or create images in your mind that influence how you feel. So when I was saying something about an example of neuro-linguistic programming would be that you say you want to become an author, you want to write a book. Mm-hmm. Now, I might instruct you with the neuro-linguistic part of it, this, or the NLP part of this, for you to look up and to the right and see yourself in as much detail of you achieving this already. Maybe you're book signing, maybe you're receiving a check, maybe, people are patting you on the back, or you're buying a new car, or whatever images you can create that show you in your mind that you're already there. And you do that for a certain period of time, and it conditions your mind to kind of see that. And then you look down and to the right and you imagine how it would feel to be in that state, how it would feel in every manner you can imagine. Maybe you're excited, you feel proud, you're spending your money, or you're comfortable because you're not struggling financially, or whatever it is that represents you being in that state. You're accomplished. And then you look down and to the left and you state it with conviction. Man, you did a good job. You wrote that book. Everybody loves it. And so you're doing the visual, and you're doing the kinesthetic or the feeling, and then you're doing the audio.
Affirmation and
Now that is,
incantations.
That's
I think
an
that's
example,
a great word.
right, of NLP, how you can actually change your mind. There's also a sample of, or example of NLP is, say somebody's really distraught. They're in a really bad frame of mind. Now I might, grab them by the knee and pinch, and that would kind of get their attention. That would kind of anchor them and say, what is the most exciting thing you've ever done in your life?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I ran the marathon and I came in 10th place. Oh, really? How did it feel when you did that? What was around you? Did you hear cheering? If you can keep somebody in the here and now for up to 90 seconds, it literally switches the brain, the side of the brain that they're using, so they can go from the side that's distraught and confused and irrational or upset or depressed, and switch to the feel good, happy, into the here and now. If you're in the here and now, you're not thinking about your past.
Sure.
You're not thinking about your future. You're literally in the here and now.
Yeah, because you can't think 2 thoughts at the same time, right?
No, not really, huh?
Yeah.
No. And so if you can keep it there for like 90 seconds, it literally will switch the brain and possibly keep it there for long enough that you can change your whole state of mind. But you could also train yourself or condition yourself to be able to do that and get yourself out of any state that you're in.
Yeah. Do that 180,
but there's
right?
so many things with NLP too. There's a lot of things.
I think I just found the next subject I'm going to geek out on. I mean, it's really cool. And again, we were talking Tony Robbins and some Abraham.
And he uses NLP,
they do.
And hypnosis, and life coaching.
Wayne
combined.
Dwyer, Wayne Dyer, is it Dwyer? Yeah. Did some of that stuff. And some of it's subtle, so you didn't really understand that it is NLP, but then some of it's just so blatantly like, just think about something happy, because you can't think about something sad at the same time, right? So, okay, so I told you we would talk and we would keep going, right?
Yes.
So here we are. So, but I do want to know, and I'm sure people would like to know, especially those that may be curious about this. Walk me through an onboarding process with coming on board with using the hypnosis in your services.
Well, first, you set an appointment, and I often offer a free consultation, because there are a lot of people with misconceptions, or they don't know. Like you asked me when I walked in, could I be hypnotized? Well, anybody can be hypnotized, and if they understand the real perspective of it, or the true presence behind it, if I can just get you to have the desire to make changes and talk you through a pre-talk and figure out really what you want to work on and what the game plan is, and get you on board, that creates the most success. And I have a really, really great success rate. I can't actually remember a time over the last several years that anybody's even come in and said, this just didn't work.
Yeah.
And some levels are to the extreme where they come back and they say, man, I quit smoking, or man, let's work on something else now because this is really working. And then other ones they'll come in. And the thing about it is you don't hear my voice in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you don't relate what you're doing to what I suggested. So say I'm helping you with your diet and I say you crave colorful fruits and vegetables and you want lean proteins and whole carbs and sugars and chemicals and syrups and stuff just make you sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I give you these different suggestions and you might say, well, I don't know. I have been eating a little bit better. Or, I did really enjoy a thing of strawberries and I've been really wanting more strawberries. Or, I did start an exercise routine and, I have kept it up all week.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas they normally wasn't. They were struggling with that.
Sure.
And so I have to get them to connect that this is
working.
Your thoughts. Right. And these subtle little things that you're doing are actually major. I might sit down and they start saying little things they're doing. And then I say, look, I've been talking to you for 15 minutes and you literally stated, 10 things that I suggested during the hypnosis and you're doing all of them on this subtle basis.
Yeah.
Which is something you weren't able to do on your own.
And that's got to be good because then it's sort of hardwired at that point, right? Because it's not so out there and bold, but it's subtle.
Right.
Which means it's programmed.
It's programmed. It's working. And also it gets momentum going. And anytime you get excitement and momentum because you can feel some success or you're feeling different about it or you have a different mindset,
then you're validated.
It pushes you. Yeah. Then you get on board. It's like they say it takes 21 days to
break a
start
habit,
a
right?
habit. Yeah. Right.
Or break one. Yeah. Right. And by that, I mean, you got to start a new one.
Right.
So, very cool. Well, I look forward to us working on some other stuff here in the future, but let's let everybody know where they can find you and how to get in touch with you.
Well, I have an office in Fort Walton Beach right now. I was working out of Navarre Healing Arts in Navarre too, but my main office right now is in Fort Walton Beach, and it is I forgot 90. Well, I'm not programmed to know the address. It's 90 Beale Parkway, Northwest, Fort Walton Beach, Florida, 32548. And then you can find me also online at www.dcchypnosis.com. And also on Facebook, I'm Deana Cooper Chapman. And then that's my personal. And then it was Deana Cooper Chapman Hypnosis and Life Coaching. And I wanted to make it easier to find. So it's DCC Hypnosis, NLP and Life Coaching on my Facebook. Great. And Instagram too. So.
I know, right? And then Snapchat, and then Twitter, and then all everything else comes down.
I'm trying to connect.
Yeah,
I'm connecting with the people around.
There you go. So, we are getting to the end of time here, but I want to thank you for coming and hanging out.
Oh, I'm excited. Thank you. I'm excited too, and I just appreciate that you reached out to me because I'm happy to be here.
I think this is the coolest thing ever.
I'll come here every week.
You know what?
We got
lots of
things to discuss.
Yep, we do. Apparently,
I have lots of kids.
Well, not only that, but at first I was like, well, the quitting smoking thing, and then as you kept talking, I was like, dude, there's like 9 things I want to be like the coolest superhero ever, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's exactly what I encourage. It's like, let's work on you becoming the best version of you that you can be. You have no control over anything outside of yourself. So why not focus on your thoughts and your mind, your actions, your words? Because that's the only thing we can control.
Amazing how much happier you'd be, right?
It is.
You start realizing you have no control over anything else.
And that's where you develop trust and faith that if something happens, you'll handle it when it does, but your focus needs to be on you. That's the only thing we can control.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
You're so sweet.
All right, you guys, you can find us at Pensacola Radio X on Twitter. You can find us at Pensacola BRX on Facebook, or you can find us on our website at pensacola.businessradiox.com. This has been Pensacola Business Radio, where business is good and your work matters.